Happy
Cheers.
Tuesday. Got my Bloom on because we needed more caffeine this morning at
I have
10 a.m.
yet to try it.
They're good. I've tried all the energy drinks. Well, not all of them. Some of them are hard to find. I will say, out of all of them, this one has the most natural energy. It does say that it boosts. No, this is not brought to you by Bloom. It should be. It does boost metabolism. It's got a prebiotic, which is huge to me. Apple cider vinegar. Says positive mood. Who doesn't want that? And mental focus. Like, it's got all those cute little icons back there. So
Okay.
I like it. And it
You're
doesn't give
hoping
me
that's
any.
what it's producing, right?
I'm believing that. So I'm doing that mindset thing. And it doesn't give me any jitters. That's the thing. And it doesn't have like
Okay.
really bad, like, it's not like some of those that are scary. They tell you for your heart health, don't take them. So yeah, that's what today is brought to us by. It's on an auto ship to our house. So we're committed at this point.
Okay. I'm gonna have to come over and try one.
Just go to the store and buy one. It's called Bloom. Just go stop and get one.
I
You
do
don't have to come
okay,
all the
I
way
go
over
to
here and get
Trader
one.
Joe's, I
They're
go
everywhere.
to Aldi's and do a quick like Meyer run. I don't really
Well, next time you're there, pay attention and find the aisle, and they're there. You can get just one and try it and see see if you like it. It's amazing. So Bella and I fight
clarity,
over them because I refuse to get more than
energy.
24 a month. And she's like, Mom, that's not enough. And I'm like, well, then you need to start buying some too. That's where we're at in life. I'm auto shipping everything at this point. Everything's an auto ship.
It's a $2 discount.
It's not really a big discount, but I do that because then I know it's coming. I don't have to work at it. I don't have to remember. A couple things I have from Amazon's auto ship. So financial, what is it? Responsibility, saving that $2 every month.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. And it
So,
comes down to affordability. Is it
always,
something you can afford for the month? And that's where I think a lot of us we keep discussing affordability and being
yes.
mindful of what we're spending. Like you said, 24.
Yep.
Well, there's 31 days. It's okay to have one, like not have one a day, but it's good to have one. So that affordability conversation is
Yep.
in personal and in business type of
I
thing.
agree. And there's so many things I've been looking at statements and I'm like, why am I paying for these things? So, anyways, today I thought it would be great to get started. We have an awesome conversation, like why saying what's the rate is the absolute worst question you can ask. And Cece is an expert. She's my mortgage expert. She's going to tell you all the reasons why that's the absolute worst question you can ask. It's the most
The
misleading.
first worst question. It's not the worst question. That's the first question when you talk to a lender or when you start talking about mortgages. What's the rate? It's the first. That's the worst first question to ask. So let's
And it,
clarify
and they
that.
and they clickbait us. Everything
Yeah.
on the news, everything on the internet. You've got agents and some lenders that will clickbait people and talk about the rate just went down. And what they're not saying is interest rate went down, but they're not always talking about the mortgage rate, but it's just always hype to get like attention. So we have a lot of news what's going on in real estate, but why don't we just start with this because this is like our main topic. So, okay, why is saying what's the rate the one of the worst questions somebody could ask you? Like, what is your like first response to that? And then we could dig into what people
Oh,
should be asking instead
it's
of what's the rate.
it's cringy. We all have that question. It's cringy. Like, of course. But I like to explain it only because when you fall into the marketing of the social media and the media outlets that want to make, hey, it's this, it's just something to discuss. Or, hey, this is the average. Well, that's great. The average interest rate, let's just say right now that they're saying the average interest rate is 6.125. Let's just say hypothetically, that's not what it is today. And by the time you're viewing this, that's not the truth
Oh yeah, it'll be
because it's
different.
always changing. It's very fluid. But for hypothetical purposes, let's just say it's 6.125 is the average rate. What does average mean? What kind of spectrum is that across all loan products? you have government loans, you have conventional loans, you have investment loans, you have HELOCs, which is lower, that skews the number down. Because
Mm,
some HELOCs, some banks or HELOCs, you can get in very low because it's tied to prime, it's
right.
tied to so
The
much.
interest rate. Yeah.
It is. Then you have your buddy who's in the next cubicle. Let's just take another hypothetical, a GM employee, W-2, 800 credit score, wants to buy in the same sub, almost the same purchase price, but has a different interest rate. Well, there's more that goes into it than you work at the same place and you're buying the same home. There's
Right.
so much behind it and the organization that goes into it. Not everybody's the same. You may
No.
be a Macintosh apple with a pink lady apple. I mean, you're both apples, but you're slightly different, which is a slightly different taste, which it calls for different recipes. The
Right.
best analogy I can give is what kind of apple are you? There's so many varieties, especially here in Michigan. I want to say this name
Mm-hmm.
drop. We're in Michigan, and accounting that to like trying to paint that picture of mortgages and when it
Yeah.
comes to rate. The reason why I'm asking what the rate is, one of the worst first questions is because not everybody is the same. Now, the formula for rate, there's so much that goes into it. What kind of home? How much was the loan? How much was the purchase price? What's your credit? What is your credit like? Not just the score, but the risk value behind the score. Like right now, quick example, I have a client that's an 800 credit score. Great, but he just started his credit.
Mm,
So he's higher risk because his credit history is 2 years, 3
right.
years
He
old.
hasn't had time to
He's
mess up yet.
Yeah, he hasn't, so he's still a risk, even though he's an 800, it's still it's considered thin credit. Now, bring in a senior who when I say senior, not age senior, but who's seniored with their credit report, they have they've had 3 cars, paid off 3 cars. They've had a home, paid off the home, and you can see what's been paid off and what type of credit they have now, and it's very seasoned credit at 800 that changes it too. So there's so many variables that kind of go into it. And I want people to understand the interest rate and being approved for a loan is not based on a human. It's AI. It's always been AI that
Yeah.
determine if you're approved or not. Does this make sense in a risk factor situation? And that's
Mhm.
all this is, risk based.
Yeah, because
And
they
that's
wanna know
what
you're gonna pay it
determines it.
back. They're trying to determine, looking at you, and I wanna say hi to everyone who's coming on, Fierce Fleming family, Hazel, and R. Henderson. Thanks for joining us, guys. We appreciate you.
Yes.
Um, but yeah, like, what is your risk profile? Meaning, it's the same thing in a different way, like insurance, car insurance. Like, if you've done a really good job, you're not getting tickets, you're not getting accidents, you're not making claims. Woohoo! You get the best rate, if you will. When
Maybe,
you're
depending on your car. What
and
if your car is
exactly,
old?
so many things. But like with a house, they're looking at it like, okay, we're giving you a couple $100,000 typically, in the realm. And we want to know, what's the risk that you're not going to pay it back? What's the risk that you are going to default on this? What's the risk that we're going to have to
Default.
come back in and take this back? And now we've got to deal with it. And so that's what people don't understand, because it does seem unfair, because there's all these things, and they'll be like, like you just said, I'm sitting right
Well,
next
I
to this guy. We make the same amount of money, but your loan might be different than his loan. Your credit could be different than his loan. And what I think is the most big misconception that we talked about just this morning is the amount of the loan. Like when you're talking about like a bridge loan, we were talking about it this morning, just you and I, how a bridge loan is a smaller loan. That's a interest rate that's different because it's a lower amount of money. It's not really the investment portion, because again, it's also an investment on the lender side who's buying the loan. It's
they're
not a
gonna
big
make
invest.
money.
They're not going to make as much money on it. So and it's more risk too, because now would you default on that, and potentially what's all these numbers that they're using. So they're not going to give you the same rate as somebody who's borrowing 300,000. If you're borrowing 40,000 or 50,000, it's different. And I don't think anybody really understands that, except people in our industry that actually know that that's a factor. So there's just so many things. So when somebody clickbaits and just throws it out there, the rate is, like you said, potentially 6.125 or 6. 5 or 5.99. They just spit these numbers out there, which really and truly mean absolutely nothing.
I can do that, and you can pay down
You
the
could
rate.
tell
Oh,
people
you
they could get
want
a
that 5?
4%. They could
Yeah,
get a 4% loan with you. Yeah, if you pay 3 points or whatever the heck it is,
I'll give you
2
a five
points.
and a half.
Right,
Done. You gotta pay it down.
right.
Sure. I'll give
There's a
you five and a
cost to
half.
that.
At what
Right.
cost? And that's where a good loan officer and a good realtor will be like, whoa, hold on. That's not the right first question. It's still a good question. That's why I keep saying it's just not the right first question. It's a good question. And your loan officer should go through the numbers with you. They should go through what rate and buying down a rate, what that looks like, that return on investment. Now, if you go
Yes.
back, I think what is this, episode 54?
This
What
is
we can
episode
do,
54.
yeah, episode 54, but if you go back to, like, episode 30, we have talked about this subject, or right around there a
So
couple of
much.
months ago. We actually talked about how return on
Mhm.
investment, does it make sense to put more money down on a
Right.
home? Does that make sense to pay down an interest rate? Me, not all lenders, but myself, Holly, the realtor partners I work with, it's important for us, for you to understand, as not just our client, but the families, because you turn into family, you turn into friends. You're not transactional with us. It's very human based, where that return on investment makes sense or it doesn't make sense. Why
Mhm.
spend $4,000 to save? And I'm making this up. This is
Right.
off the cuff.
Right.
Why pay down? Let's just keep it clean. $2,000 on an interest rate to pay it down to only save 25, $40 a month. What's that
Mhm.
return on investment? Does it make sense? Sometimes it does, and sometimes it doesn't. Having a lender go through numbers and getting specific, like, hey, that's valid. But here's another portion to it. If you put down 20% of 20% down purchasing a home, then you don't have mortgage insurance.
Yes,
Okay,
that's great.
that's cool. That's everybody's goal. Woohoo, I got 20%. Well, here's the thing, you can put 15% down, have a small mortgage insurance. Yes, I know it doesn't. Don't come at me. I can already hear it. That goes to the bank. That's not towards you. I
Right.
get that. But let's just have that conversation. What if it's $47? Or let's make it clean, $50 a month. So that's
Mhm.
$600 that you're going to spend out. You're going to spend potentially 3 grand to 5 grand extra to get to that 20% for that 600, when you could potentially call your financial planner, take that 5 grand, give it to them, and multiply your money, and you've just made that $600 back. It's
Right.
a challenge. I don't know the numbers until you come in front of me. That's when we'll have
Right.
that conversation. Until you talk to another financial professional, not myself, I don't do financial planning, nor do I want to do financial planning. I like to stay in my lane. What does that look like? What if you want to invest that in another home and you want to keep that asset? And
Mhm.
that $600, that potential $600 annually for that mortgage insurance, because you know you're going to refinance. So let's
Right.
just say a year, keep it clean. What does that really look like? Or
Yes.
do you really want to do the 20%? So I always challenge my clients. I really do. This isn't a conversation I'm having with you, Holly, for the first time, and everybody
No,
else
you have it a
watching.
lot.
I love the challenge of that conversation. So the first worst question, what is a rate?
Yeah.
Well, that's great, because the rate could be, let's just say that you didn't have to pay it down and the rate was 6.3. Okay. And you need mortgage insurance. Not every bank is equal with their mortgage insurance.
Right.
So my mortgage insurance could be, I'm going to make up a number, $87, because it also comes on how much you put down, the
Right.
risk, the type of home as well. So let's just say it's $87 at the bank that I work at. Well, it's 120 at another bank, but their interest rate is smaller,
Right.
just slightly less. And they're going to beat the deal because their interest rate, well, what was my example? 6.3 or
6.3. Yeah, you were
yeah,
6.3.
6.3, but they give a 6.125. It's only a $15 difference. Again, hypothetical numbers. But I just saved them how much in mortgage insurance
Oh,
monthly?
that's so good.
So
So it's a
it's
number.
not.
People don't know to ask the right questions, and this is so. I hope that we
Yes.
could give this
So
message out to everybody
it's
because they just don't know
valid.
it.
It's a valid question. Worst first question,
Yes, and it's
my opinion.
misleading. It's misleading to
It's
take that one number. They take it to the
yeah,
bank, to take that one number and think that you are saving, quote, saving, when you just said you're only saving $15 a month in the payment because of the rate, but you're paying 120 instead of 87, which is what, $33.
yeah.
So you're
So
actually losing
money.
$18 a month. If I did that math quick fast, because you chose that bank that gave you the lower rate, but you didn't ask
Yeah,
for
and
all the fees,
you want
all
to
the fees.
flex on the rate. And here's
Right.
that thing, that flexing on a rate isn't a flex anymore. So when you were in
Mm.
2020, 2021, everybody's like, "Oh, what did you get? What did you get? What did you get? What did you get?" It's not a flex anymore. Nobody talks about rate because it's a depressing conversation.
I
You're
know.
also used to the 2020. I'm not
Yeah.
going to a dinner party looking at the guy next to me or the couple next to me going, "So, bought a house. What's your interest
I was
rate?"
just gonna say, what's your number?
Nobody says it. It's not sexy anymore. We
No,
can't
it's not.
flex it. And even the individuals who have the interest rate from 2020, 2021, they're stuck in a home that they don't wanna be in. It's no longer a flex.
It's
"Oh, well,
definitely
I have
not.
this interest
It's
rate. Oh,
definitely
I have
not a
the
flex.
3.2, but now I can't move."
Yeah, I'm miserable. I need to move. I have too many kids in this house. My job moved, and now I have to drive an hour one way, but I have a 3% rate.
Yeah,
Like, that's not
so
a
they're
flex. That's
flexing a
a,
rate,
ooh,
and
I
they're
could
not
make a better,
happy.
right. I could make a better financial decision, find a way to work this out, and actually like where I'm at. Being stuck where you're at is not a flex. Now, if you are in a spot that you want to stay,
Oh,
then
of
that's awesome.
course.
Then you
Awesome.
won that lottery because it was a gift. We're not going to see that again anytime soon. 3%, under 3%, forget about it. It's a pipe dream. But if you're in your final home and you're like, this is where I want to be forever, you truly did win that lottery. But that's a very small percentage of people who are in the perfect place that they never want to leave with the perfect rate that they're never going to see again. Most of them are just only making that financial decision because they don't see a way out, which we try to teach and show them how to get out. And segueing just a little bit, because we can come back to this, but our president and this administration is actively trying. He has made a few statements. One of them was that his first year in office, I mean, if you look at his statements, they're riddled with, they're kind of hilarious. Why he had to work so hard to get us back on track, right? For this first year. We won't go into all the things he said, but his attention was focused elsewhere on just making us safe, securing the borders, all the things. He said now he really wants to focus in on the housing affordability situation. I don't know exactly what word he used, but first of all, the man he made his
It's a
millions and
c
became in real estate. So he knows real estate.
yeah. Mhm.
So there's two things that he's looking to do. We'll talk about the other one second, because it's not as big, I think, as this one is. But he has said that he's considering and wants to find a vehicle to purchase 200 billion in mortgage bonds. So that's the proposal. Now it has to be approved and go through all the things. We don't know how exactly. So Cece and I, this is just, he just put this statement out. We don't know how he's going to do it. We don't know when they're going to do it. All we know is he's putting it out there that he wants to look into how they can do this. What's the best way to do this to purchase back some of that debt? So that would open up funding, Fannie, Freddie, whatever, to potentially. Now, this is me saying this, is no one else saying this. I'm thinking if they did this, Cece, and you can answer this question that I have because he didn't say this, but I'm wondering if he does that, like, how is that going to, because he's saying it's going to affect the rate and affect all the things. Well, it'll affect the rate. We already know because it's tied to the bond, the treasury, the yield. It will affect, potentially could affect the mortgage rate in a positive way, meaning it could potentially decrease. But the other thing, so I want you to talk about that. But the other thing that I'm thinking is it would open up maybe the opportunity for some of, like, Fannie, Freddie, they'll offer grants sometimes and money for first time home buyers. If they have an influx and if some of that debt has been purchased, would that potentially offer the average American more of an opportunity to have a better incentive to buy? So that's my question to you. And also, if you want to talk about how that could affect the mortgage rate with the whole yields and buying the bonds and all the things.
Well, what he wants to do is have the government invest into the housing market and show that the housing market is strong.
Hmm.
I think that's one of the biggest things he would like to show, that the government's willing to invest in the housing market. The media, and I'm going to say this very loosely, l- the
Walking on eggshells for a
media,
second.
I know, I'm walking on eggshells. I'm
Get your
trying to
tippy
get my verbiage.
toes, get your tippy
So
toes out.
the media loves to sell on fear, right?
Yes, they
The
make
market's
money.
going to crash. How many years? I've had 2 closings not happen the day before. One was a day before. It's actually a dear friend of mine's son who pulled out of an amazing deal. I mean,
Mm,
he still kicks himself. He pulled out an amazing deal because the media at that time, that week in the news, that he was watching the news, kept saying there's gonna be a crash, there's gonna be a crash, and this and a whole bunch of stuff, and he got scared. At the time, the interest rate was, and I saw this a couple months ago, the interest rate was 5.3, and
hmm.
he was scared of everything crashing and falling. Well, it didn't. And he lost out on a really good rate and a really good home. And even if he didn't like the home, would have turned into a fantastic rental. And
Yeah.
what I see moving forward is the conversations that the current administration is having of how to get creative
Yes.
to make it show that the housing market is going to stay strong. So
Yes.
him coming and proposing $200 billion for the government to purchase these bonds. And this is a secondary market. When you get a loan through, you have like, so looking at you, Mr. Customer, in the camera, when you get a loan and you close with the bank, that bank will sell your loan. Mr. Cooper, N Nationwide, is it Nationwide? There's quite a few different ones,
Yeah.
United Wholesale Mortgage. They sell it, and they sell it in batches.
Hmm.
So, you can buy that within bonds. So, he wants to show how strong the market's going to be, and then all
Yes.
the ideas he's coming up with, potentially doing a 50-year mortgage to calm down the payment so things become affordable. And
Hmm.
that would come back to that word that we started this whole podcast on, was affordability.
Yes.
So showing that the government wants to back something this strong with that monetary amount, that I've heard a couple people say due to saving money on the tariffs.
Hmm.
This
Oh
is
yeah, because the money we've saved. Yeah,
the
that's
money
where
we
this money
saved.
is potentially
Take
coming from. Yeah.
Exactly. Taking this money that we've
Hmm.
saved, that we would have spent out, and
Right.
this is a lot of the argument that I'm hearing from all channels. This isn't political. Economists, excuse me, this is what they're discussing.
Yep.
So, and I don't want to discuss tariffs, don't want to get political, but the money we're saving on what we're not spending money
Yeah.
on
No, it's
that
a
we
good topic. It's the
found,
truth. It's what's
it's
happening.
the
Yeah.
fake money, the fake daycares, the fake this, the fake that, that we don't need to be spending money on.
Right.
We can take them that money and invest it back into our country. And he
Yes.
wants to invest it back into real estate and show that, hey, there's strength here. So let's
Yes.
talk about that strength and how it'll affect mortgage rates, how that'll affect the rest, and what that looks like psychologically. Because right now, it comes back to even the same question of the first worst question: what's the interest rate? Well, psychologically, we've been conditioned due to the media. This is how we should be thinking. That's the first question. Psychologically, we're being told what to think. And what I see and what others are seeing is that the idea of him proposing this will show the strength and numbers of the real estate game, and taking away that negative psychology of shit's gonna go down. No, the market fluctuates. Things are going to change. The market is going to change in April. It's gonna change in July. It's gonna change in October. It's
Yep.
gonna change next year in January. Things are going to change.
Hmm.
It's look at the history. Just another challenge. Go look at the history of our market and what
Yep.
it looks like.
It's
Something big is
cyclic. It's
coming.
cycles. There's cycles in real estate for
It
sure.
is. And the cycle right now doesn't look good. I get it. So for him to say, hey, I propose this, taking the funds that we have found, saved this, and putting it back into the real estate, it
Yes.
helps the consumer in the long run and
Yes.
give that psychology again of confidence. Like, okay, I'm okay with the 5.99, the 6.5, the 5.5. Of course, we want to keep seeing the interest rates decline. We would like that. 3.5, 2.9, all that. Mm-mm. But as
Don't wait
long as
for that.
they're
You'll never buy a house. It's not happening. And
it's
like, it's
not.
just not
And
happening. It's,
and
well,
it's
I can't say it's never going to happen, but the only reason it did happen was because of COVID. And that's the only reason why the economy was literally in the toilet. So when you see a rate go that low, it's not always a good thing. It means there's a really bad problem that they're trying to they were kickstarting real estate and the economy. Like they did like a hardcore boot. Like when your computer's stuck and you can't do anything and you have to do that hardcore boot to shut it off and restart it. That's what to me they did. And thank goodness they did it because it brought us back to life and we had been shut down, industries were shut down, mom and pop places were losing their business. It was terrible. We don't even need to get into all the crappy
no,
things that people did, but they
but we
needed
need
to
the
do
confidence
something.
back.
Yeah, they needed
We
to do
need the
something.
conversation back.
So that's what they did. And that's why they did it. And so for people to now think, you have to understand why. Like this is my big thing is always ask why and do your due diligence, research the history. Why are we at where we're at? That's the history behind it. When people go back, when they're teaching the history like 30, 40 years from now, and kids in school are seeing, they're looking at interest rate, let's say for some odd reason, which they should be teaching this, but they don't teach enough of it. But let's say they are in a financial class and somebody actually gets a brain and does it. Let's say that they are looking at, gosh, why in 2021 was the rate only 3%? 1983, it was 18%. 1999, it was 6%. They're
Yeah.
seeing like this fluctuation. And if somebody teaches them, well, you got to look at that period of history. You also have to look at the average price point. Yes, in 1981 or 83, it was 18, hit 18%. The average price point was like 80 grand. It wasn't like what we have now. So there's so many things people have to understand. And if you just hold yourself to a number, and this just keeps tying back to our point, don't look at just that one number, the just what the rate is. There's reasons why we don't want a 2020 again. We don't want the economy to be in the toilet again. We don't need that hard reboot. We don't want to have that. So that's yes, it's a gift that some of us got. Yay, we have this
But
interest
they
rate.
paid a lot for but then it was a gift, but it wasn't a gift because now we have individuals who wanna sell, and some of them did overpay for their house, but there's still a lot of equity out there. There's a
They
lot of
still have
pros and cons
equity.
that came
Yeah.
with it. Yeah, there
Yeah,
was
because when you look at your numbers, like you could run this and probably do like a whole thesis on it. On even if they went 20,000 over, 30,000 over at 3%, it's still better than it is better than a 6% rate, right? Long term. Long term. That's the other thing we didn't say. The one other big question that I know you already ask is, and I ask too, how long are you going to live there?
yeah.
Because if this is going to be a 30-year home, you honestly think it will be, that's different than, well, I want to be here 5 years and then I want to X, Y, and Z. Okay, now we're looking at it with the right lens. I'm only going to
Wait,
be here 5 years.
6, 7. Now it's like like, yeah. So one problem statistically before COVID, and please remind me, wasn't it 6, 7 years that someone would be in a home for? And then
It was
after COVID, it had increased to what,
seven
9,
to
10,
10.
11
Seven to
years?
10 is our new normal,
That
is about 7 to 10 right now.
yeah.
It used to be five to
So
seven, and then it moved to 7 to 10. And it's going to really depend on our new batch of buyers coming out and what they're doing because like Gen Z is not, some of them are buying, some Gen Z's are ready to buy a house, they, and some of them can, but when they start entering the market, we still have, millennials are probably our biggest buyers right now. Like there's young and older millennials, whatever, but they still are our biggest buyer pool. But yeah, when we start to see Gen Z hitting the market, that's going to be really interesting. So I like what Trump's doing because he's forecasting we've got a new group of buyers coming up. We need some sort of affordability because this new group of buyers, let's just add another layer, are coming out with a lot of them with student debt, which is going to go against them when they're trying to get pre-approved. So again, another question with the rate, do you have student debt? What kind of debt are you holding? Different debt. I know it
Yeah,
plays out differently. We don't have time to go into all of that. But
that's
again, these just the more we talk, the more
debt to income
questions.
does change the rate.
Absolutely.
It's a risk factor.
Absolutely.
So if you have a lot of student loans, again, going back to the GM employee sitting next to a GM employee, did you go to MIT? Did you go to Michigan Tech? Like, where did you go to become an engineer? That how much
Mhm.
student loan debt do you have? And have
Yes.
you even paid it off?
Right.
So there's so
You are
much that
not
goes
equal.
into it.
Yeah, you're
Yeah,
not the same
we
on
just
paper.
the conversations, and you're going to click back, and when you start watching these, you're going to see that we're talking about what's trending. You're going to see us talking about affordability and the conversation, how it's changing throughout the seasons. Right now
Mhm.
we're in a season of affordability. We're becoming more, I think 2000, I believe, not think, I believe 2026 is going to be just that alone. We are taking a step back. We don't want the bigger and the best. We're not keeping up with the Joneses. The
Mhm.
interest rates are so low. Let's go buy this toy. Let's go do this. Let's go do
Mhm.
that. I mean, yeah, you go buy the boat, you go buy the wave runner, you go do this. Then you forget insurance, 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 gas, 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 wear and tear, wear and tear, wear and tear, and how much that became a
Storage.
black hole of money. Like,
Storage, boat well.
whoa, let's calm down that lifestyle just a little bit,
Yes.
and let's focus on what's important, living life and going on adventures. Let's go for a
Yes.
road trip. Let's keep it simple. Let's minimize life and make things affordable because these grocery prices still going up. Your car insurance, don't want to get in there, going up. Homeowners insurance keeps going up. So how do we scale back? Got to
Yep.
scale back that monthly payment. So coming in as a first question of what's a rate? For me, let me tell you the first thing you need to say. My goal is X, Y, Z. How do we make this happen? XYZ is going to change for every individual. X could be, I want a monthly payment of $1,300. Well, how do we get to $1,300?
That's the better question. It
Or
doesn't matter what your rate
2,000,
is.
3,000,
Right. It
5,000. I mean,
Yep.
we have clients who have a $5,000 mortgage payment, and some will be really appalled by that, but that's the house that they want.
Mhm.
Financially, that's what they can afford. They want to send their kid to private school. They want this subdivision. They don't mind this payment. And it's not right and it's not wrong. But coming in saying, my goal is X, Y, and Z is so much healthier for you than the
Yes.
interest rate. Now, that's first question out. Again, financially, it's important to have these conversations and you get the
Mhm.
what you want. Just the first question out, that should not be it. It should be about your goals and how do we get
Yes.
to your goals and how to find the right goal. Because if your goal is, I want a payment for about, let's say, a $3,000 payment, an average right now, I want to say at a $300,000 loan, depending on taxes, homeowners insurance, you're still looking at $2,700, depending on where you live, your taxes and whatnot. But let's just
Mhm.
keep it to 25 to $2,800 to
Mhm.
a $3,500. Let's stick in that bracket. Mortgage payment,
Yep.
that's okay. But now we know what city you wanna buy in. So if you're
Mhm.
telling me you want a $3,500 payment and you wanna go live in Birmingham,
Birmingham, Michigan, by the way. You should
thank
look
you,
up the
Birmingham,
taxes.
Michigan,
Yeah.
not Alabama, Birmingham, but even Birmingham, like, even down there, you know the pockets of the area that's gonna be more expensive with higher
Right.
taxes. So if
Right.
you come to me and like, "Oh, I want a $2,000 payment, but I don't wanna go live in Birmingham." Holy cow.
Pipe
I
dream.
don't think I could even contain that laughter.
It would be
You
hard to
can't
keep the straight
rent.
face. I would not
You
be able to
can't even
poker face that.
rent in
Clearly, we
that
know I don't have a
city.
good poker face on most things, but
I
that would
know.
be a tough one
It
to try
would
to
be.
stay.
So, do your goals line up with reality. Do you want to go
Reality.
live in Florida in a condo, let's say Naples, Fort Myers, Cape Coral, let's say the West Side on the Gulf, but this is your goal, this is your budget, this is your timeline, this is you only want to be, with the Florida example, I want to be a snowbird. That could be your goal.
Yep.
Well, what does that look like? What about the
Mhm.
other half that you're not there? Do you intend to rent that out? What's
Airbnb
that
it,
return
baby.
on investment to keep that house stable with that payment? Can you afford that? So that's really our conversation is basically about is let's go with the goals and what's the
Mhm.
strength of the market, and psychologically speaking, let's keep everything strong because now you're asking the right questions.
Yes.
Hearing the government coming in, or I wouldn't say not government, but just officials coming in, state reps, congressmen, whomever, trying to have different conversations of how we can help out the real estate market and you as the consumer. I love these conversations. Is it going to come full circle? Some of them are not. They
Right.
definitely are not. I can't even wrap my head around it of how it would even come true on some things that have been already spat out, but I like the conversation. Holly, you
Yes.
like the conversation. And
We
that's
need
where it
it.
comes down to that $200 billion. Let's have the government invest in the real estate market is huge. Let's give that confidence back. Let's give this back. That changes the market, that changes the rate. And it'll be more of, and they're hoping it'd be more of a trickle down effect, not a bubble
Yes.
up effect. If you need to
Right.
know what that is, Google it. It's a business term, but this is what that basically is it sounds to me, it's a trickle down effect. Let's show the
Yes.
strength. Then this gets stronger, then this gets stronger. And who's going to benefit? The consumer. That's what this sounds like to me. Versus let's throw money at consumers, give a stimulus check for them to go buy stuff to give to
'Cause they're just gonna go to the
corporations to
store and
make
buy
more
stuff.
money.
You can't trust the consumers right now. You send them random money, they're just going to go to the store. They did that. Remember, we got stimulus checks? They did that because they did want us to go out and buy a bucket of goods. They wanted us to put this money back into the economy,
Stimulate the
get these
market.
small businesses, stimulate the market. But you're absolutely right. I would much rather see them take their 200 billion and buy these bonds because I like to see my government investing in the United States. I don't want to see like the list of things that Doge gave me that my money's going off to all these countries to help them with
A puppet
stuff that
show.
yeah, I mean, I don't even
Sesame
want to get
Street.
into it. Like,
I know.
why is our money going out there? So when I see that we want to invest in our economy, I'm all in. And you referenced real estate cycles and you referenced how, we were in a lower time. We were like last year, 2025, August 1st, they pinpointed was the bottom. And they said, if you don't sell real estate, you probably didn't even really realize it, or buying or selling, you didn't really realize it, but we had less transactions. That's what they were looking at, transactions, real estate transactions, the amount of people buying and selling than in 2008. Because even though 2008 was an economic crash, that was an economic crash, you still had all these homes that were flooding the market because they were repossessed, right? They were foreclosed and they were putting them back into the market. So even though the prices might have been like bottom of the barrel and that was a way worse situation, we had less transactions than the 2008 period, and all of that was last year. So the good news is we're coming out of that. We've already seen it. Just the difference between the price points in November to December. I started looking at data. We're up in most areas. Even though we weren't down, we were never like at a negative here in our area of Michigan. Other parts of the country, a different story. We
It in
weren't in
some
a
of the
negative.
areas dipped down -2%.
Yeah, we're
When
not
we
there.
say
We're up.
-1.2, -0.08,
Mhm.
-7, they weren't big negatives. It was a slight tinge, if that at all. So it
Right.
wasn't heavy hitting in a lot
It
of
was more of a
nationwide.
correction. I think it was more of a correction because some of these areas were a bit inflated for different reasons. So I think a lot of them had more of a correction than like anything else. But thankfully, we
Yeah.
didn't see negative.
Yes.
Now, are there cities in Michigan that did? Yes. If I looked at every single city, I'm talking about the area. We're in Southeast Michigan, where we're at the Tri County Metro Detroit area. We're healthy. We're
But we
doing
don't live
well.
in Detroit.
We don't live in Detroit.
We're in the burbs, and we're talking about burbs, not
Yes.
the city of Detroit.
Although I
It
was born
is
in
completely
Detroit, I did
different.
live in Detroit, but I was little, and my grandparents did. I grew up down there when until they went to an apartment. My grandparents, my aunts and uncles. So I did go. I was down there, but yeah, we don't live there now. But I
And
don't think we
nothing
can
wrong with the
afford to
city.
now. The
We're
pricing in
just
Detroit's gone up.
discussing outer city and the burbs because that's where the flux of the rate and the
Yes,
risk factor.
you're absolutely right. Yes, because just moving to different areas changes your car insurance and changes a lot of different things. Your rate on,
Mhm.
what you're getting. So I think with this, like, I like the conversation, and the question that you need to be asking yourself, number one, is, am I working with the right people? Am I working with the lender who is going to look at me as a human being with dreams and goals, aspirations, a future, yes, a past, maybe some baggage, but is going to look at me as a holistic picture and make a plan, help me make a plan, ask me those questions about what my goals are, what I really want to do, instead of just treating me like another transaction. And am I choosing a real estate agent who understands the same exact things, works well with that lender to make sure that we are curating an experience that I'm going to enjoy, and they're going to get me to that closing table with the least amount of bumps and bruises. I'm actually going to enjoy myself, and I'm going to feel like this was a great experience. We say this a million times. I'm going to probably say it every time we do this. It's who you work with. Pick the right team, the right real estate agent, the right lender. Make sure they
Mhm.
have a great title company. Most people have no idea what title even does. Your real estate agent and your lender are going to be able to help you with that. Great insurance person, all these parts of your team. It's all about who you work with. At the end of the day, this is what it comes down to. Do your people know what they're doing? And do they care about you? That's as simple as I can make it. Yeah.
Yes,
That's my TED Talk for today.
and we do because it's human to human.
It's a transaction, of course. It is a business transaction, but you don't have to treat it like a transaction. It's a relationship that we always talk about that we're forging with our clients because we want them to come back. We want to be a resource. We want to be in this business and have longevity. So we want the referrals, and we want people to trust us, see us as an authority, know that we have answers. And if we don't have the exact answer, we'll get it. We'll find it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what this is all about. And it's not about being stuck and saying, I'm stuck in this place. I don't know how to move forward. There's always a way forward.
Yes.
Might take some patience. It might take some time. You might have to do a little work and clean up some credit stuff. You might have to, take a look at your spending. You might have to maybe take a look at where you're looking to buy a house. Like you said, you're not getting into Birmingham, Michigan on a $2,000 a month payment. Not gonna happen.
No.
So we got to have some realistic goals and aspirations. We don't have a magic wand that we can wave. I wish. It's a partnership.
It is. It is. So
So
asking the right questions and even coming out with the right statements, that's the biggest thing. What is your goal? What is X, Y, and Z? And we'll make it
absolutely.
happen.
So I think this was a great conversation. Thank you so much. The way that you went into a
Yeah.
few things, I forgot to do this, but I'm so mad at myself because there's a button I can push that I can take a piece of what's happening and it will pull it out for me like a little clip to do a reel. And I sat here
Oh.
looking and going, I think I know which one it is, but
But don't mess with it.
I was so afraid to start hitting a button. Hold on, I'm gonna do it right now.
We
If
have
I kick
so
us
many
out, I'm sorry, but let
issues.
me just see if this was it. Highlight saved to your channel as unlisted video up to 5 minutes of your stream. Okay, so now I know what to do. But when you were going into that, so if you're coming in late or if you just started, if you missed that, you need to watch this whole thing because Cece went into a really good, she was on a roll on exactly what those right questions are and why. And just, it was really good. That was some really good content. So this is a great opportunity for people to learn and get themselves prepared, whether they're here in Michigan where we are, we're both licensed down in Florida as well, and we can also refer to anywhere in the country. You can and I can. So if
Yeah,
somebody
my
is anywhere else,
team is all over the United States. We have meetings on the daily, weekly, and if you need help, contact me. If it's a specific state, let's say like New York, there's a lot of isms. I don't know, but I have a team member who does, and we can take great care of you, and you get the same quality as talking with me, I'd say, with a transaction. So
and that's what
with
it's
your
all
loan.
about. So we can help
Yeah,
across the country, which I love. And I just like you can do that. I have agents that I interview and I talk once I find out what the client wants. I'll interview an agent and I'll be a matchmaker. I always say a matchmaker because that's what it is.
I
I'm a
know.
matchmaker and I'll find the right
What's that
team for
song?
you.
Matchmaker, matchmaker. Oh, I don't want to sing, but
Come
make me a
on.
match. It's a fiddler on the roof.
Oh, yes. Oh my gosh. Simon Cowell just texted. He wants to talk to you when we're done with our podcast.
And I get a text. But I sound better in the
Your
car
paper's
with
gone.
nobody around.
No, you've sounded
I
great.
do. I
Well, this
do.
is so good, and I know we're
Oh,
at our time. So thanks
yes.
again for joining me every week. This is our 54th episode. I love that the longevity, and like you referenced as well, go back. You can click first of all, hit the bell for notifications so you know when we're live. It's typically going to be around 11 a.m. Tuesdays Eastern time. Might be 10 or 11. It's either going to be 10 or 11, based on what we have going on. But also, you can go back and click on my channel, follow it, and like it, and all the things. But when you click podcasts, it will show the real estate podcast, real estate and mortgage. Click that, and you will see the list of all of the past episodes. And it's kind of like a little library to go
Yes.
back through. And if you have a question, you can make a comment on that one that you're watching. I'll see it, be able to get back to you or answer your question. Also in the comments there and the information is my contact information, and I have CC's. Just reach out to me. I can give it to you. She's also on YouTube as Let's Talk Mortgages. Is that
Yep.
correct?
With
Okay.
Cece. Yep. Mhm.
With Let's Talk Mortgages with CC. So follow her there as well. And we'll get you what you need because that's what we love doing. And we love real estate and mortgage and we love working with people. So
Yes.
that's that.
All right.
So with that, you guys have a blessed week. We will see you on Tuesday.
Take care, everybody.